Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grandstand Sports Data. In today's video, we're giving you the round one betting preview between the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll be going over some of the statistical breakdown, some of the fundamentals involved in this series. We'll be giving you our models predictions and some of the betting lines. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's get into the statistical breakdown for this matchup. As you can see, just starting with the power ratings, Tampa Bay dominates on paper, right? They're ranked number 2 in power rating from us Grandstand Sports Data, and then with SRS with HockeyReference.com, and then all of the goal differentials as well. Florida's numbers are decent, but across the board, they're just a tier lower. This is a clear edge to the Bolts, just in my opinion. Now, for special teams, Tampa is elite on the power play. They're fifth in the NHL, and the penalty kill is about sixth. Pretty good, right? So Florida is middle of the pack on both ends, and their discipline might be an issue in this series. They're the most penalized team in the league at being ranked 32nd in the NHL. Now, goaltending, this is an accumulation no matter what the goalie was, so it's this save percentage no matter who the goalie was over 82 games. Tampa again with the upper hand at, you know, basically tied for second in the NHL, where Florida was tied for 14th. In the playoffs, that difference matters. This isn't just a stat, it shows up when games get tight. Now, moving on to some of the more shooting and possession metrics, you can see Florida shoots poorly, 28th in the NHL in shot percentage, but generates elite volume, right? They're ranked number 2 in shot differential and number 2 in scoring chance percentage. So that's good. That's huge in this type of a series. Tampa, they have less volume, but top tier finishing, right? Number 6 in the NHL when it comes to that finishing rate. So this is a classic volume versus efficiency matchup. The final read here is going to be Tampa is the more complete team technically. They're elite across the board with no major holes. Whereas Florida brings shot volume, control, and possession, but they'll need to bury these chances and stay out of the box to have a shot. If this turns into a special teams or goaltending battle, Tampa may pull away here. Okay, so let's move on to some of the fundamentals. We're talking about coaching, player quality, and then also goaltending. So John Cooper and Paul Maurice, those are going to be the respective coaches for each of their teams. Cooper with the Lightning or the Bolts, he's at a 58% win rate in the playoffs, while Maurice is at basically a 51. I think this is very, very close. You can basically make this a coin flip. If you're going by cups, obviously Cooper would have the edge, but just as of late, I think this is a coin flip for these two gentlemen. Player quality, you got Kachuk, Verhage, all playoff hammers for Florida, right? Elite Corsi 4 percentage and a strong plus minus for both of those gentlemen. Kachuk a little bit not so much with that number one for his plus minus. And Verhage, a 5 isn't the greatest, but you can see from the Corsi 4, they're dominant players. Tampa Bay's Kucherov, he's going to be translating to both, right? And also Hedman's going to be contributing to both, plus minus and that Corsi 4 percentage. They're also monsters. So across the board, Tampa's top players, they have maybe a stronger resume when you're looking at plus minus, but the edge would go to Florida if you're talking about Corsi 4 percentage. So who's going to bury their chances is basically what that's coming down to. The goaltending in this one, you can see this one's not very close on the, according to the numbers, but if you're just looking at it on paper and basically fundamentals, Vasilevsky, he has the plus 36.9 for his goals saved above average, and then he's almost, got 63% for his quality star percentage. That's elite. That's crazy numbers right there. Bobrovsky's in the negatives for his goals saved above average, but he's playing much, much better than what these numbers are showing, especially in his last few playoff runs. And I want to say most of this is coming from Columbus and some of the bad times that he had there. I think he had one good playoff there and then kind of struggled after that. But once he got to Florida and had this elite team in front of him, he's performed. So I would say the goaltending is also a coin flip. What I would say is that this is going to probably be a long 7 game series. Me personally, if I was to say if someone came here and said, I've never watched hockey in my life and I want you to make me a fan, I would tell them this is the series to watch. Watch games 1 through 7. This is going to be neck and neck. It's probably going to be physical as all hell. You will love hockey after this series. I can almost promise you that. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the more profitable historical angles from the past 5 playoff seasons. So this chart's highlighting which side each factor leans toward based on positive unit returns in historical playoff betting. So what is it going to do for my pocket? That's basically what we're asking as a sports bettor. Well, Tampa Bay has the edge in about 7 out of the 11 factors that you see. Power rating from us at Grandstand Sports Data. They have SRS. They also have goal differential, both in terms of total and even strength. Then they have the penalty kill advantage, right? And they also have that plus minus. These are basically the foundational stats that consistently win in the postseason, and Tampa checks all the boxes. But let's take a look at Florida now. Florida has some edges here, right? They have the more the possession-based categories. Talking about shot differential, Corsi, scoring chance percentage. These have historically hit in the playoffs, right? And they're even more of some of the more profitable ones, right? Like shot differential, it makes you $6.88 for every $1 bet. Corsi makes you $7.11 for every $1 bet if you did it over the last 5 years. So surprisingly, we're going to move down to the model now. A little bit of a spoiler alert on our side. The model favors Florida, both on the money line and on the spread. And that suggests that the market might be pricing Tampa too high, right? It's based on reputation while undervaluing Florida's underlying metrics. So our final read on this is that Tampa is built the way the playoffs bettors love. They're complete, they're experienced, and they're efficient. But you can argue the same thing for Florida. They have more of those more profitable stats leaning their side. So your angle is going to depend on what kind of bettor you are, right? Do you have some edges for Tampa? Do you have some edges for Florida? It's almost a coin flip at this point. Now, let's take a look at some of the money line results over the season. You can see that both teams had the same record at 47 and 35. Same problem, both teams lost money on the money line, though, right? Florida was down $3.04 for every $1 bet. That was a negative return of 3.7%. And Tampa was down $4.35 for every $1 bet, down 5.3% for your return on investment. So, what does this tell us? These are overvalued teams in the betting market, priced like contenders but not returning value. So both teams are public favorites, which means the lines are often inflated, especially late in the year, as you can see. Florida had a profitable midseason run, about games 60 to 70, but completely collapsed value-wise down the stretch. Tampa showed similar patterns, brief peaks, around midseason, but a sharp decline in rate of return during the final 10 to 12 games. The key takeaway here is that neither team should be blindly backed on the money line because there's no real pricing edge. In fact, there may be value fading either side when the public piles in. So for this series, look at those alternate markets, maybe puck lines or even derivative props. Money line alone hasn't been profitable. Now, I will say, what does all this mean here at the end for both teams? It could be that they were just resting some guys and that you're not really gauging the market correctly. So just to, leave, little information just to keep in your back pocket. Now, let's move on to the series line here. You can see the Panthers are the slight favorite at minus 115 on the money line, minus 1.5 on the series spread at plus 160 money. Tampa is a mild dog at minus 105, and plus 1.5 on the series spread at minus 190. So this is being priced as a toss up, but juiced towards Florida winning in a longer series. The model's predictions over 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations. Florida wins 4 games to 2. Those 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations, 70% of those went Florida's way, while Tampa had 30% of those. So that's a confident lean, suggesting the model sees value that the books may be missing here. The model's picks, they full align with both the spread and money line. Florida is the play across the board. Remember, this is a predictive model, not market influence. It leans heavily on Florida's possession edge and also their shot creation. Those have been huge indicators of success throughout 5 playoff seasons. Now, Tampa has more public cachet due to recent success in goaltending, but the model fades that narrative and bets on the underlying stats. So the final read that I would see here is that the market sees this as a close series going very deep. The model, they thinks it's going 6. So a little deep, but it's Florida series more often than not. And if you're model driven better, especially with our model here at Grandstand Sports Data, this is a spot to buy into the Panthers. So like always, we'd like to thank you guys for watching. We hope that you got some awesome information from this video. Now, don't forget to subscribe to Grandstand Sports Data for more great shows like this one. Also, don't forget to give this video a like, share with your friends, and then leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win the series. That's all for now, and we'll see you guys in the next one.